2025, you know the drill. I know I got a bit of the sun there. I don't know if you got some shadows. Try to find the right spot as I'm out here getting in this podcast pregame. Looking forward to putting forth another podcast this week as we approach the final week of October, man. The time is just, it's unfair how time flies. It really is. And it's not even a thing that, oh, because you're older, because you're either established or accomplished or whatever, unlike when you're younger, you feel like you spend more time out, you do a lot more, experience more, etc. And that shouldn't be the case even as you get older. But it's just, man, it's just unfair. That's why I like to say that time cares about nobody. Time doesn't care about what you did yesterday, doesn't care about tomorrow. In fact, because we have this moment, a lot of people, including yours truly, hand raised high in the air, a lot of people don't fully grasp the moment to where Bio, what's up, my man? I'm just talking about how time just flies, and I mean, geez, as I sit here, just thinking that it's already the approaching the final week of October, and yeah, I always try to preach, enjoying the moment and being wrapped up in it, as opposed to just, I know I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, I saw the thing with Rosia this morning first, and then Vlado, Val, what's happening? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. What's happening, Val? Hope you're doing well. And Vlado, I know you got some interesting NBA development here, which I'm gonna get to in a second. Yeah, just talking about time and the moment and how it just flies. That's why I'm starting off this podcast pregame. And yeah, obviously there's a lot to unpack with this podcast. Pretty much similar to what you heard yesterday. But there are two things I want to say before I even get to Billups, because that's a lot to unpack there. And it's one game. I'm not gonna get crazy. Critique. What is happening? Glad to see you here. I know it's only one game, but just like I said yesterday in the NBA preview, if you didn't watch, I'm sure those who are on did watch. But if you didn't, it's on the channel, in the archives. Check it out. And it's going to be a bit on my podcast today. I'm sorry. I know you have Luka, Ant-Man. Forget about Jalen Brunson. Forget about KD, whatever. The most important player in the NBA this year, by far, is Victor Wembanyama. And I know people are going to probably debate that. And some people may say, oh, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. It's not him. It's got to be this person, that person. It's Wemby. What you saw last night was just, and this is no surprise for those who've watched Wembanyama over the last 2 years, but because, and I want to read this article that just came out, I think it was earlier today on ESPN, or maybe it was yesterday, where he was with some monks in the offseason and how spending time with them has really elevated his, I want to say, more of his mental approach. I didn't read the article, so I got to go back and check it out. But man, last night, you talk about a performance. We knew he had handle. We knew what his abilities were. But yesterday it was almost like, what the hell was I watching? Is this guy 7'4" or is he like 6'4"? Insane. I mean, and the reason why I think he's important, just like I said yesterday, but for those who didn't watch, the reason why I think he's important because despite him being a foreign-born player, that guy's gonna be the face of the league. He's got to be. And I understand he's in a small market. He's in San Antonio. And a lot of the reason why Tim Duncan was never the face of the league is because he didn't really want that smoke. He was a guy that, hey, I just come to play basketball. I want to win championships. I want to be coached by Greg Popovich, and that's it. And it's not to say Wembanyama is going to have that same type of demeanor, and you wonder, when that success comes through, especially the team success, and that's why I was hoping last year, if you listen to my podcast going back to last year, 2/3 of the season in, where San Antonio was hovering in that 7 through 10 in the play-in scenario, I said the Spurs need to make the playoffs. We want to see Wembanyama on a big stage. We want to see him in the postseason. And that's why this year, to me, they have that young nucleus. I understand they have a young coach, Mitch Johnson. He's right now, a lot of people don't know who he is. And under the radar, etc. But boy, 40 and 15. That one play where he blocked, I forgot who it was. Was it Derek Lively's shot? And then he came back down the court, and here he was trying to break down his defender behind the back, step back three. Is like, what? And again, it's not like we haven't seen this before, but yeah, I mean, bananas. All right, let's go back. Oh no, no doubt, Bio. Yeah, he's gonna be a monster. Yes, Vladi. Oh yeah, Vlado. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, just read about Chauncey Billups. Yeah, Wemby. Thank you, Val. But they're gonna push him to be that face. Rich Fam, what's going on? And hi, man. Last year I told everybody that Wemby's gonna be MVP. Yeah, you did say that, and I gotta respond to your comments. Yeah, before I get to Billups, that's gonna be the thing. Everybody's gonna push him, and you're absolutely 1,000% right about that. Where now they're gonna jam Wembanyama down your throat. And for those who watch basketball, you already know. But depending on what shows you watch, that's all you're gonna hear is Wemby, 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 and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's from another planet. But I just hope it's not to a point where they're trying to, just like they did last year, like, ooh, is Ant-Man the face of the league? Oh, is Jason Tatum the face of the league? I mean, to me, that's nonsense. But because of his size, his skill set, etc., I mean, how could this guy not be? I mean, we've never seen anything like it. And it's crazy because when KD first came into the league, and mind you, KD, when he came into the league, was like 6'10", and he ended up being 7 foot. And when you saw his handle, you saw his everything. Wembanyama's probably going to be better. I mean, who's going to stop this guy? Now, the only thing that will stop him, I'll say this, is, of course, health, number one. But I just hope that however he's going to build his body, he just remains strong. And I'm sure he's lifting weights. I mean, he looks a little bit thicker than he had in his rookie year. And that was just 2 years ago. But, yeah, I really hope that health is on his side because I want to see this guy flourish. Without question. Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year, he's definitely going to win that. He's going to win multiple. And MVP this year, he's going to be definitely in the. I mean, listen, it's one game, and that's why I don't want to go crazy, but still. Rich Fam, what type of car do I have? It's nothing impressive. It's a Hyundai Accent. Yeah. As long as it gets me from point A to B, that's all that matters. Yeah, Rich Fam, I appreciate you saying hi back. Do you think Giants manager is good MLB? Val, here's the thing. Tony Vitello, nobody knew who he was before yesterday. He's the first guy that was been plucked from a college program that's never been in major league. Forget about dugout, locker room, etc. I don't know from what rock, excuse me, that the front office decided to pick him to be the guy to lead the Giants here over the next, I don't even know how many years he signed his contract. But, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's going to be great, he's going to be this, going to be that. I don't know. But you know what's going to happen? They have gone with guys like Gabe Kapler, since Bochy left. Gabe Kapler, and even more so Bob Melvin, who's older and knows his way around baseball, but they want to go to the route of the analytics, collective agreement between the GM, front office, etc., and he's just going to be a puppet. Now, how good is he going to be? Maybe he's a good communicator. Maybe he's good with, now granted, was managing college players, and now he's going to manage multimillionaires. So who knows? Believe me, I'll explain you in a comment why Wemby would be the face of the NBA. No, I think he should be. Maybe not right this second, but definitely in the next couple of years. If not by the end of this year, then in the next couple of years. Because that's the thing. To me, just in the last few years, you could talk about Jokic being the face of the league. But then again, Jokic is a guy like Duncan. Just comes to work, punches his clock, and goes home. To be the face of the league, not only do you have to be great, and you have to win. This is in my opinion, of course. Great, have to win, but you also have to be personable. You can't be a guy that's going to be, and listen, there's nothing wrong with trying to be private or not putting yourself out there all the time. We've seen how with the commercials and just these other sports talk shows and talking heads, they just want to jam. They see a highlight and they would say, "Oh, this is the guy." And the only reason why I bring up Wembanyama today is because I brought him up yesterday as far as my NBA storylines. And I thought that the Spurs making the playoffs this year was important, not only for Wembanyama, but for the rest of the league to take notice. And it was unfortunate that last year he had that whole situation with his blood clot in his shoulder. I believe it was his shoulder. Because I think they would have made the playoffs. Obviously, with Phoenix and with Dallas and them playing terrible down the stretch, I thought San Antonio was going to get in. And obviously they didn't. So that's why I think he's the most important player. I'm not saying he's the best player right now. I mean, obviously he's going to be up there, but yeah, what you saw there last night was just indicative of what lies ahead. And yeah, I'm here for it. And that's the other thing too, is he willing to embrace being that face of the league? Because he looks like a very mild-mannered guy. And I'll never forget last year, one clip that I saw, which was fascinating, when the Spurs were in New York last year because they played the Knicks on Christmas Day, and then 2 nights later they played in Brooklyn. And then the following morning before they left, and I think they were going to Philadelphia, in the rain, it was a rainy morning that Saturday, he went to Washington Square Park, which is a park in Manhattan. And if you've seen the movie, I think it was Searching for Bobby Fischer. I think the chess player, how I believe they even showcased Washington Square Park. He was down there playing chess with some people. And mind you, they're getting ready to leave Manhattan. And he happened to show up there on a rainy morning at 9 a.m., maybe even earlier than that, to play chess. And the kid is what? He's 20 now? I mean, what does that tell you as far as, just having I don't want to go as far as saying awareness, but for a guy that maybe is well beyond his years, and which is great, and it's refreshing. So, we'll see. All right, let's see what we got. I think till 2028 is his contract. Oh, Vitello? So, yeah, 26, 27. For 3 years, that makes sense. Tatsuya, what's up, my man? As a Cavs fan, I'm stunned. Knicks head coach using bench players, but I know. Yes, I know, Vlado. Jokic is your guy. And listen, how could you not love Nikola? Tatsuya. I know it's funny because you guys beat him 4-love last year, so they may return the favor. And that's another thing, too. I'm going to get on the Knicks a little bit. Not because of their play or whatever, but all these people are coming out now. Oh, this is our year, blah, blah, blah. It better be your year. And even Bomani Jones came out with a comment last night on socials, which he said, oh, give me a plausible reason. Oh, he said there are no plausible reasons why the Knicks should not win the East this coming year. And you see, and it's stuff like that where it just drives me crazy. And I got mad respect for Bomani Jones. Don't get me wrong. It's on his Instagram. I found it on Threads. But he's coming out saying, oh, yeah, give me a plausible reason why they will not. And I'm like, maybe the pressure, maybe because it is mapped out for them to win the East this year, maybe because the expectation is for them to win considering how the East is shaping up. And yeah, hello. This isn't a team that has, I understand you're going to say Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, but let me see these guys in a real big spot. And I trust Brunson more than any other Knick on that team. Karl-Anthony Towns can't trust 100%. I'm sorry. And I understand he has his quad injury. And last night he played pretty well when he had 19 and 12. But in the playoffs, you got to be like 25 and 15. Not every night, I get it. And I can't trust this Knick team. And I can't trust Mike Brown either. And he's got pressure too. He could talk about, I'm going to deploy my bench a lot better, so on and so forth. He could do that now. He could do that in January against the Charlotte Hornets, and he could do that even in March into April against the Celtics. But as we all know, come April, May, and June, you got 8 men that you're going to rely on. And yeah, I understand you're going to probably try to tinker here and there, but you know that once you have those 8 guys set, that's it. The playoffs is not time to start any experiments. So people can jump up and down. People go, oh, the Knicks. And they right. Listen, they have every right to. There's a lot of excitement for that team this year. But I wouldn't be quick to automatically think that, oh, yeah, they have a red carpet lock. And I'm going to talk about that in the podcast. I'm going to talk about pregame. I'm going to talk about Wemby and the Knicks. And then I'm going to talk about Billups next. There is no automatic that the Knicks are going to the finals. I'm sorry. Put it this way. The Knicks had Patrick Ewing in the 90s. And I understand, oh, now you're going to bring up the 90s. What does that have to do with today? What did they win? Yeah, they went to a finals in 94. And even 99 was the magical run. But what happened? There are no locks. I'm sorry, none. And this Knicks team, I do not fully trust. And if you don't believe me, just think of game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year. When they were up, 14 with 2 minutes to go? I mean, stop. And it's pretty much the same team. All right, Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele and a couple other guys. And I understand Josh Hart didn't play and Mitchell Robinson, shocker, Mitchell Robinson didn't play yesterday. But still, Matt Chapman has been a finalist for Silver Slugger. Yes, Bio, I know how much you love him. Mike Brown had LeBron and Kobe. Thank you, Bio. Thank you. And I understand LeBron, that was early on in his career. I get it. And Kobe, that was, when was that? That was before, hold on a second, let me think. Mike Brown was what, like 2011? Because he got fired maybe like, yeah, I thought like Kobe's last couple of years when Mike Brown was there. Bulls triangle offense too strong for Patrick Ewing Bulls. Oh, you got that too. I mean, obviously you had. No, but think about this. You're right. But that 93 team, the Knicks were a 1 seed and they had a 2-0 series lead on Chicago. And we all know about the Charles Smith game. If I'm a Knicks fan, that's 1 series I'm sick to my stomach to this day. Because I won't go as far as saying that you had no business losing that series. Well, let's face it, you should have never lost that series. Never. And listen, I understand Charles Smith. He probably got fouled. Listen, we can't go back and we can't turn back the clock. But yeah, it's just funny how, and I'm not trying to say that the Knicks fan has to be cautiously optimistic. I won't go as far as saying that. But at the same time, you can't be out here puffing your chest up thinking like, oh yeah, let's start punching our ticket to the NBA Finals. Which a couple of places have come. And I understand, they're fans, fanatics, whatever, but maybe it's me. All right, now let's get into this deal with Chauncey Billups. So I wake up this morning in preparation for the podcast, which will be out later today. Apple, Spotify, the website, JAYREELZ.com, of course, here on YouTube. And I saw that Terry Rozier, upon leaving the hotel in Orlando this morning, was getting arrested. And I thought to myself, I said, wow, that's strange. Like, why are they choosing now to arrest him? Did they want to wait for the season to begin in order to start the season off with this black cloud? Could they have done this during preseason? I understand maybe they were still gathering information, etc. But I thought the timing was off with that because Rozier was under investigation as late as toward the end of the season last year. And they had the whole summer to kind of hash this out to see whether or not Rozier was going to be guilty and implicated on this. And with the gambling, it's similar to, based off what I read, it's similar to what Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, the relievers on the Cleveland Guardians, are going through. So it's not as if they were betting on their own games. It wasn't a Pete Rose deal where, yeah, they're betting on their own team or betting for them to lose or anything like that. It was him and his performance having an outcome on the in-game betting, which was similar to Clase, like if he was going to throw a ball or if he was going to strike out a batter, but he ended up walking a batter, and that there was a fix there of some sort, which to me is kind of weird. I mean, seriously, you're going to jeopardize your career. I don't care who you are. You could be name the biggest guy in baseball. You could be Aaron Judge. There isn't enough money in baseball that is going to make me throw a game, change the outcome of a game, whatever. Sorry. I mean, you got to throw. You got to start. If that's gonna be the case, you got to start with 500 million, and that's got to be in my account before I even influence a play. Let alone even say, all right. I mean, seriously, like, what are we doing here? And I understand you get wrapped up in certain deals, scandals, or whatever because it just seems too good to be true, or you decide to, you know what? I'll do it. Who's gonna pick it up? Who's gonna figure it out? Whatever. In a case of not egregiously, let's say, throwing a pass into the stands or bricking threes or whatever, but I mean, come on, man. And then for Chauncey Billups, here's a guy who's had a very good NBA career, not a Hall of Famer in my eyes. I hate to say that because maybe now it's not the time to get into that. We know Mr. Big Shot, won an NBA title, Finals MVP, etc. But what is he doing? And the Billups thing came down, I think, around, I don't know, maybe a half hour before I jumped on the live. No, maybe, yeah, about a half hour or so. So I don't know why he's involved in this. Like, what is he doing? And obviously, if Rozier's guilty, he's done. And forget about Billups, I wouldn't be surprised he gets fired. I mean, instantly. I mean, the season's just beginning. What are you going to do? I get it. Innocence will prove guilty. I understand. But what's going to happen? You're not going to have your coach for weeks on end, quite possibly? Because if he's been arrested and the FBI is getting involved, and what are you going to do? You're going to have just your bench coach, the assistant, that's just going to take over? He's going to get the axe, I would think, right away. And Rozier, he's not going to see, considering this goes back to last year. But, I mean, even Billups, like, why? This guy was known as a very, like I mentioned, very good NBA player, very heads-up NBA player, good IQ, and I don't know, like, how do you get wrapped up in something like that? Was the money that good? Was the offer was it seriously a Godfather offer where, you know what, they're gonna give me this amount of money and the check's in the bank account? What the hell? I'm gonna do it. Come on, man, you sold your soul for that. I mean, that's like, as I said to you a million times, people, that's like me, and for those who follow me, for those who, you know, I appreciate, that's like me killing gambling, how it's ruining sports. And that's not to knock, if you guys gamble, whether hopefully you're not gambling, losing your shirt in your home, but if you do it for fun, place bets, listen, I'm not going to knock that. What you do is what you do. Me personally, I've never got involved in that. And yeah, and especially with the fantasy, you know how I feel about that. So that's like me killing gambling, killing fantasy even more so. And then 2 weeks from now, MGM, BetMGM or FanDuel or whatever comes to me and they give me a blank check and be like, hey, JAYREELZ, we want to sponsor you. And next thing you know, hey, guys, what's up? Oh, I'm sponsored by FanDuel. You're going to laugh at me. And if anything, you probably unfollow me, which, you know what? I would say to you guys, yeah, I would unfollow me too. Here I am killing gambling and gambling houses and this, that, and the third. And then next thing you know, I sell out for the check and away we go. Yeah, and there's no way I would do that. No. And you would have to think the Roziers, the Classes, and now the Billups, they got enamored by the money or whatever. I don't know. What do they offer him? A private plane for the rest of his life? For him and his family? We ain't going to pay you money, but here's a private jet? I don't know. Now, of course, I'm making that up. I don't want you to think that that's the case, but yeah, it's just, I don't even know what to say. Eric Riley, what's up, man? When was the last time a head coach or manager has ever been arrested while? I know, yeah. Louis, what's going on? Something is fishy. And that was the thing. When I saw the Rozier thing, I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to start this again. And then I see Sham's report while I was on Threads. I see Sham's report 2 minutes prior at the time Chauncey Bill's been arrested. And if you know if Shams reporting it, that's legit. And I said, what? And therefore, that's why I'm surprised about the timing of this, because if this has been going on, well, Rozier we already know, and I understand Rozier's small potatoes. It's not as if he's a top star in the league. But if Billups, did they recently uncover something? Was this something that's been on the wraps that maybe Adam Silver knew and they said, no, we can't put this out here, or who knows? And that's what's the fascinating thing, because here it is, in essence, it's opening night, or it's opening week, really. I understand Tuesday night was opening night, but because you had the big slate of games yesterday, and then now you're going to release it today? So it's almost as if, all right, we're geeked up about the NBA season, but now here's a big slap across the NBA's face. And I would think if they knew about this prior, like let's say training camp, there's been rumblings privately about Billups being possibly indicted on whatever gambling charges, and they got evidence and big time proof of that. And let's say this was back during the start of training camp, then why couldn't they come out and say that in the middle of training camp? Why did they wait for now to put this out? I mean, I don't know. And yeah, it doesn't look good. I know Adam Silver, as you know, for those who watch and listen, can you imagine? And I'm sure he already knew about this. He'd be shocked if he didn't. But that's like him. He wakes up this morning, he's getting ready to pour his cup of coffee, he has a little buttered croissant, and he takes the first sip and he reads this news, and he spit it out across the room. I mean, how could you not? Here it is. You come off a night where we just talked about Wembanyama. You had a good opening game in Houston and OKC, and you're just getting your feet wet as far as the season starts, and then you get this news. And again, an NBA coach. It's not even just an NBA coach. He was also a former player and a Hall of Famer. And I understand, when you think about Hall of Fame, Chauncey Billups is not going to be one of the first guys that cross your brainwaves. Yeah, it's not like it was Shaq. It's not like now you got to think about, yeah, obviously Shaq's not in the league, so if he's gambling, nobody's going to care. But yeah, it's not like it's Jason Kidd, obviously one of the top point guards of all time, or whom else? I mean, you know what I'm saying. It's not as if you have a guy of that ilk where you think Hall of Fame, wow, this guy got caught out there 2 days into the NBA season. Reminds me where Ohtani translator got busted. I know, Vlado, you hit it right in the head. And Tatsuya, yeah, I know that thing with Ohtani, though. I mean, it was shady. The interpreter was shady from the start, because the interpreter came out and said, oh, well, he knew that I was taking out money. And then they brought it up to Ohtani, and Ohtani said, no, I didn't know he was taking out money. And then later on, the translator came out and said, yeah, he didn't know about it. So it's like, to me, and I get it. In that case with Ohtani, it was a confidant. How he got access to his accounts, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe Ohtani trusted him so much that when it came to his personal information, he's just like, all right, yeah, fine. And therefore withdrew this money to pay off gambling debts, etc. But then everybody tried to tie in, oh, Ohtani's gambling. I never thought in a million years Ohtani was doing that. And to me, I say this with love and respect toward Ohtani. The guy's a robot. And I'm not talking about his personality, but just every step he takes is calculated. His training, his visibility, his availability. As much as Ohtani is a rock star in not just baseball, but in the sports world, he's still very close to the vest. Yeah, you know about his dog. Yeah, you know he just got married. I believe he just had a kid. But that's it. And yeah, he has his New Balance commercial, but he's not everywhere and anywhere all at once. So Ohtani knows what he's doing. So therefore, people want to say, "Oh, I bet you there's a lot. I bet you Otani bet on baseball." Stop. You don't know that. I don't know that. And my gut will tell me, like, no, this guy's too big of a star to just literally flush his whole career in the toilet. Terry Rozier, on the other hand, I mean, come on. I hate to say this, but nobody's going to miss Terry Rozier if he gets booted from the league. Sorry. And he's had his moments in the NBA. Good scorer. But again, Billups, on the other hand, I understand he was just starting out his college. He was just starting out his NBA coaching career. And, right, when we think of the annals of the Hall of Fame, is he Wilt? Is he Russell? Is he Kareem? Is he Jordan? Is he no? And again, I understand it's not the day to pile on him whether or not he deserves to be a Hall of Famer, but sadly, Bill's going to be remembered more for this if he does get fired, and obviously he does get indicted. It's just terrible. And yeah, Vlado, listen, that's why gambling, sadly it's an addiction. It could become a sickness. I don't want to come out with any judgment, but the one thing you can ask, especially as a sports fan, is why? Why? Was the offer that handsome for you to being able to not pass up in order for you to influence games? That's what it boils down to. That's it. I guess obviously it was. Now, I'm sure he's going to come out, or his attorney, Billups, that is, will come out and say, oh, this is all false, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Of course, he's going to say the right thing. You think they're going to come out and say, yeah, I'm guilty? Now, you know what? You would respect anyone, let alone Billups, if he came out and said, yeah, I want to clear my name, but I have done some wrongdoing, maybe not to the extent of whatever. If that's the case, I don't know. But yeah, that is oof. The NBA, you talk about having some bad news, especially at the time where you're just getting your season underway. And all right, I'm not making Billups out to be Greg Popovich either, or Phil Jackson. But tie it in. You know, he's not a coach that's just gonna pick up and go away. Yeah, I don't want to knock anybody else, or that's like, and I like him. I think he's a good coach. So I'm just using him as the example. That's like if the former Memphis Grizzly coach, Taylor Jenkins, was implicated in a gambling thing. People are going to say, oh, wow, really? Wow, Taylor Jenkins. All right. And that's it. That's it. Just like it's Terry Rozier. And again, I'm not knocking Jenkins as a coach, whatever, but yeah, that's mind blowing to think that that's happened. And who knows? Who knows what's going to come about from this moving forward? You never know. The other players or the other coaches involved, you know about Jonte Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, which again, small potatoes. I understand because of his relationship with his brother, of course, it's going to be known, but obviously nobody's going to miss him. And it's sad to say it that way because, hey, a guy who's trying to make it into the association, but, like, what are you doing? It's unfortunate that people don't have the willpower or at least the awareness to be like, yo, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, but then again, in any walk of life, any person, whether it's gambling, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sex, women, people know it's not the right thing to do. Oh, I'm cheating on my wife, or I'm a weed head, but now I'm doing meth or whatever. And unfortunately, people have their vices, people have which sucks, and people know better, but they don't have not only just the fortitude, but even the wherewithal to say, yo, I got to stop. Or what am I doing? Yeah, just, and by any means, people, I'm not the morality police in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, man, that's a bad look on the NBA today. There's no other way. Yeah, I'd like to know what Adam Silver, I'm sure he's going to say, oh, well, yeah, we know about the allegations, blah, blah, blah. We're going to wait for the investigators, FBI, to hash this out before we say anything. Yeah, they're going to say all the right things. So, yeah, so obviously those are big topics. NFL, besides some injury updates, whether your name is Mike Evans, the wide receiver, or Jaden Daniels, oh boy, the Commanders not having the year that they were expecting, especially their fans. But as I talked about yesterday, not really much to discuss with the NFL this weekend. So if you want to go apple picking, I think this is the weekend to do so. Actually, I went apple picking 2 days ago just to stay away from the crowds. And I think we're going to get together with family to do that on Saturday. But I'm just throwing that out there for that sake of it. Then, obviously, World Series. Oh, you really, Bio? Now, I'm curious. Yeah, because I know you're outside of LA. And I believe you're north, if I'm not mistaken. Like, how far do you have to travel to go apple picking? Yeah, and I know, just to kind of pivot, my favorite apple, I know there's a million different varieties. If you've never tried an Envy apple, man, go to Trader Joe's. If there's a Trader Joe's near you, they usually have Envy apples. Buy one of those suckers. Man, those are good. And I like the Cosmic Crisps. Those are also one of my favorite. The Honey Crisps are good. Here I am talking apples. 15 minutes? Wow, that's quick. Place called Oak Glen. Nice. Nah, yeah, I love it, man. I mean, 'tis the season. Yeah, we got a ton of bag full of apples the other day. And it's funny because you get the big bag, and that's how they get you, because here's a $20 bag where, all right, but then they give you the big bag for 35 bucks, and you're like, damn, that's gonna be too much. And then you come home, I don't know, I probably have, off the top of my head, 50 apples, and I ate 3 of them yesterday. And it's like, these suckers gonna rot by the time I get to, but the good thing is I have a juicer. So I know as time goes on and some of them start to go bad, it's like, nope, I'll slice those dead spots and just throw those suckers in a juicer, and there you go. That's one thing. If you haven't invested in a juicer, people, I'd implore you to do that. And before you go, oh, well, it's too much sugar, whatever, but it's natural sugar. It's good for you. You need that. You need to have the glucose for the brain. It's the table sugar and the processed stuff that you got to stay away from. And listen, I'm sounding like a nutritionist here. This is just based on research, right? I'm not a licensed physician. I'm not a professional, but for some, I understand it will spike your blood sugar, et cetera. For those, you got to watch out for that. I'm well aware. Pumpkins. Now it's too bright in here. Jeez. Pumpkins have nice. Cole, what's up, my man? Pumpkins and apples this weekend with my yeah, pumpkins too. I understand people just like carve the pumpkins. I like to dig the seeds out, roast them, and then I'll take the pumpkin, I'll roast that too, and even make that in a soup. What the hell's that lady doing? That's weird. This is a lady that's crossing the street. She has her head down, and she has this bag that she's swinging, and I'm like, is that lady okay? I hope she is. High fructose corn syrup is inflammatory to your body. Yes, Tatsuya, you tell them. Yeah, I don't mess with any of that stuff. I do not. That stuff is ugh. I know. Now here I am. I'm going to sound like the food police. Only because it's my age. Yes, I know I'm not 100 years old. I know I'm not whatever. But yeah, you know, the stuff that I used to eat years ago, like, hey, I'm going to have pancakes. All right, great. Log cabin? Sure. Put loads of it. Man, you ever see the ingredients on that stuff? Oof. That thing is just garbage. That's channel I said to you. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. Yeah, you know, some of it is corny. The couple that I saw was I know the Nick one. The end of that one, that was like, oh man, that was if you had somebody that was, especially where I live, if you have somebody that was affected by 9/11, ooh, yeah, that's a video that they would want to that they would want to skip. Just put a warning on the bottom. But no, but that was pretty funny with Stephen A. and Carl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, and then the other one with all the players. No, hey, listen, animated. What is this guy doing? He's stopping in the middle of the road. This guy's asleep. I know, and I can't stand it. And listen, I am not Mario Andretti. Here I am. I'm sounding like I'm not only the morality police today, I'm the food police, and now I'm going to be the traffic police. This guy comes up here. It's not a stop sign. He's standing in the middle. He's in the middle of the road. There's a guy that actually has the stop sign. He's waiting to see what he's going to do. So he starts to drive, and then he honks at him, and the guy's still sitting there. Like, what are we doing? Get off your phone. See, I can say that because I'm parked right now. So people are hot stuff. It's not all funny. Oh, no, exactly. Some of it's corny. I saw a couple of corny ones. But, and no, and the thing with the Knicks and the plane and, you know, the end result of that, yeah, I looked at it. At first, I was like, oh, but and to me, listen, as you guys well know, I was down there 9/11. So, but yeah, but you know, you're going to have some that lost people in the towers and all that. And there's your hit if you haven't watched. And yeah, I forgot the name of the channel, but no, but you know, it's entertaining and it's something different. So, no, I could definitely dig it. Now, what are we talking about here? Yeah, high fructose corn syrup. Yeah, Tatsuya. Tatsuya, what do you eat? I'm curious. You stay away from that stuff? Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the stuff that'll kill you, man. I mean, it's crazy. The stuff that you not even eat every day, but the stuff that you put on, whether it's the syrups, the certain soft drinks, etc. Those are the silent killers. Because you're thinking, you know, I'm just putting a little bit on here. You know, I just drink, you know, 1 or 2 sodas a day. I mean, the diet soda is even worse, but and nobody says you can't have a soda every now and again, but there's people that, no joke, out here. I know my cousins and especially my cousin's dad, who unfortunately passed away, he would drink like 2 liters as if they were water. And obviously, you drink too much of that, forget it. All right, now here I'm talking about food here. Between food and what's right and wrong in life when it comes to gambling and bill-ups and traffic. I mean, please, this is going all over the map. But yes, today's gonna be interesting with the and it's funny because it's gonna be mostly World Series, NBA. I'm gonna talk NFL. College is quiet, as you know. NHL. Now that I think about it, Cole, your Red Wings lost last night to Buffalo, and they play the Islanders tonight. Let's go, Matthew Schaefer. The Islanders have won 3 in a row. But yeah, looking forward to World Series game on tomorrow. I know, Bio, you're certainly amped up. I'll have my prediction today. I'm waffling back and forth. Is I'll give you a little teaser. Yeah, my gut says Dodgers in 5. I know you may get Bo Bichette back, which would be big if you're the Blue Jays. But listen, they haven't had Bo Bichette the whole time. If you know Bill Simmons, it's almost like the Ewing theory, even though Bo Bichette isn't a guy that is a perennial all-star or a guy of that ilk where if he's missing from the team and the team plays well, it's like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't play him because we're playing so well. The Patrick Ewing theory. But yeah, to me, the Dodger starting pitching is just superior. And I get it. Dave Roberts, you never know. I don't think he'll do so. Listen, the way he's managed this postseason, I'd be shocked if he's going to pull Snell after 70 pitches in the 6th inning or anything like that. I would think Roberts knows to go a little bit more with his gut as opposed to saying, well, 3rd time around the lineup. Tatsuya, try to stay away from processed foods, nitrates, stay away from carbs, limit alcohol. There you go. That's the way to do it. I know. Then you hear all these studies of people coming out with the processed foods. Oh, even the not the unprocessed. Saying that, oh, they're good to have once in a while. Is it really good to have once in a while? Listen, I understand you have a craving for something and you want it. All right, fine. You want to have Chips Ahoy, you want to have whatever. I dig it. But the thing is, or in moderation, but that's the problem, in moderation. So if you're eating a sleeve of Oreos per week, is that really moderation? And I usually get the 3-pack Oreos. Well, not 3-pack, but they come with the 3 sleeves. But let's say if you just buy, I know they have like the 1 box, you get like, what, 12 cookies. So yeah, you can say, I have it in moderation. I eat 1 sleeve of Oreos a week. All right, but add that sucker up over time. That's not going to do your body any good. And that's not to say that you can't have Oreos. I dig it. Have at it. But I know for me, getting older, if I'm going to have any type of cookie or any type of that, I want to go to a bakery where it's baked and understand, right, you don't know how much they put in there. You know, I get it. But I'd rather have something that I know has been baked, that has been sitting out for a little bit, or even if it hasn't been sitting out for a little bit, where I know like after a week or two, it's going to mold, it's going to be nasty, as opposed to something that will sit on a shelf for months on end or even years on end. Red Wings and Pistons lost. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see what Cole. I made my living room cooking. Oh, I made my living from. Oh, that's awesome, Cole. Look at that. I learned something new. I know you mentioned that a while ago on a live, but yeah, just to see that, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I like to cook too, man. As you get older, you want to make your own food. Red Wings. All right, who did the Pistons? I forgot who the Pistons played yesterday. Was it no, not Toronto. Damn, I don't remember who they played. I can't get caffeine and dairy 2 week. So you're a coffee guy. And that's with me, I don't drink coffee. I'll never forget, I think it was about 9 or 10 years old when my mom drank coffee. I took a sip of it and it was just bitter. I just couldn't deal with it. And that was the only time I tasted it, the only time I tried it. I'm not a coffee guy. But I hear you, and dairy. Well, are you a cheese guy? Because really with dairy, it's going to be either cheese or mostly cheese, because people could do away with milk unless you're like a big time cereal eater or you like to put cream in your coffee. Yeah, I know I got the phone. I hate that. You see that shadow there? That's the phone, right? Yeah. Let me turn it this way. Not only that, the phone is starting to cook. And it's warm in here too, by the way. I don't have a window open. I'm over here suffocating, but I'd rather have it warm like this than cold. I could deal with it. But yeah, that's what I got, people. Vlado, please don't be angry, but Vlado, I am not angry at all. You are 1,000% right. And that's something I'm passionate about too, by the way. Despite, I know I'm not a professional. I know I'm not a guy that is suited to give any type of advice. But based on years, not just reading an article on Facebook or reading 3 posts from some hack that is gospel, no, it's me experimenting and experiencing different types of foods, diets, etc., which works best for me. So therefore, I feel like I have a good handle of that. And please, Vlado, by any means, no offense taken, not angry in the least, because I'd be the first to tell you that the food in this country is an abomination. It's a joke. And it's not even just the food, it's everything else. I actually recorded the video. I was in a CVS yesterday. And I had to pick up a prescription for the wife. So I'm standing online and they have this burn gel, burn soothing gel for, let's say if you have a sunburn or burn of some sort. So, and it says, oh, with aloe vera. I'm like, all right. So I said, let me look at this thing. So I look at the back and I read the ingredients. And do you know there are two dyes in there? There's a yellow dye and a blue dye. And it made me think, and I understand it's at the end, it's not in the very top of the ingredients, because when you read the ingredient list, it goes by what has the most and then go down the list. But why are there dyes even in soothing gel? I mean, come on, it just blows my mind. You're just better off going to a market where you could buy an aloe vera, cut it open, use the gel, and put that on you. But of course, pharmaceuticals, of course, doctors are not going to tell you that. They're not. Yeah, I could get all wrapped up in this. I mean, to me, I'm passionate about that. And let me see what else you wrote here. I'm curious. Yeah, that told me, my friends, I just eat food from my garden. Oh, so listen, I wish. Now, of course, I could grow my own stuff. I live in an apartment, so I'd have to put it out on the fire escape. But even then, I got to worry about pigeons and birds attacking it. But if I lived off the land, and if I lived, let's say, in the tropics, forget it. I'd be set, because I'd have everything planted, everything that I could ever want and imagine. I'd have everything planted and what I want, just that alone. And I feel you. Vlado, you're speaking my language. All right, what do we have here? I know Cole. Hold on. See, now I'm getting the glare again. I need my glasses. I'm a mess. You think you're a good cook? Go cook in an old folks' home, and that will be your bar. Old people are, and you know, you're right about that, Cole. Not that I know firsthand, but older people, they already have they already know what they like. They know what they can and can't have, whatever allergies or what have you. That's got to be a big time challenge. You got to prepare it a certain way. I can see that. 100%. Oh, is that right, Val? Nick Bosa's birthday. I'm sure if he had a birthday wish that he'd be healthy and play this year. The novice. Best time of the year for sports. NBA's back. World Series about to start. NFL heating up. 1,000%. Even though, as I mentioned earlier, the NBA is taking a ginormous hit today with Chauncey Billups. Vlad, you're not wrong, and I do agree with you. 90% of our food here is trash. Yeah, and the ingredients that are in the food, and I mean, it's beyond terrible. That even I have to tell my mom sometimes. You ready for this? Can I share this story? My mom, when she comes to visit, she lives in Puerto Rico. When she comes to visit, she likes to buy devil dogs, the old Drake's cakes. Now, I understand 50 years ago and beyond when they were making them, I'm sure they made them a lot different than they make them today. And I understand it's a treat. But my mom doesn't buy like a 2-pack where, all right, I got my fix. My mom will buy a box of them, and she'll eat them in a span of 24 hours. Ma, what are you doing? Nobody says you can't have a treat. I understand that. But why are you buying a box of them? You're not 20 years old. That's like if I wanted that, I would never have them. But that's like if I wanted it. If I want to get my fix, I'm buying the 2-pack, and that's it. Why is this on? All right. And that's it. Game, set, match. Because of all the garbage that's in there. Those ingredients are a disruptor to your body, to your DNA, to your body. You want to know why people have cancer? It's because they're eating crap like that. And I understand, if you have it once in a while, all right, that's fine. Or moderation. Moderation would be once a month, not once a week. Sorry. And what I mean by once a week, if you're having a pack of devil dogs, all right, once a week, still not good, but okay. It's just 2. But it goes back to my Oreos. You can't have 1 Oreo. You can't have 2. You got to have like minimum 5, 6. And if you have the whole package, which they have, 3 rows, you figure 36 cookies, you're plowing through those in a week. So imagine that. I mean, geez. And again, I know I'm sounding like the food police, but I am passionate about that. I am passionate about what people consume, because there's a direct correlation to how you operate in life, where you're eating foods that provide life, that provide energy, and not the foods that are just going to keep you I don't want to say down mentally, although they can, but they're going to keep you full and unsatisfied. Like Thanksgiving is the perfect example. And I understand Thanksgiving is just a holiday, but you're going to eat mac and cheese, you're going to eat mashed potatoes, you're going to have all the pies, whatever. And when you're done eating that, how do you feel? You feel like crap. And I'm not trying to say you got to feel like you could go out and run a marathon or you feel like you could lift, 500 pounds. And I understand it's a holiday, but my point is that there are people that eat like that when it's not a holiday. So, right, if you're going to go through the drive-thru and you're going to eat 2 Big Macs and a fry and have a chocolate shake, how do you expect to feel after that? And right, if you're 20 years old, 25, even 30, all right, I dig it. When you get to my age, no. Your body's going to say, what the hell are we eating here? And again, based on experience. Nick Bosa's birthday's today. Yep. Yeah, I know he isn't. Oh, what you call it though, Val? He's done. I mean, ACL. I'm sure he's already had the surgery, but yeah, October is a good sports month. It is the best time of the year. Although it's not the best sports month of the year, because I'm sure you've heard me say this many times. I think April is. That's just me. That's not to say October isn't. October definitely is, but April, I guess, because I'm a summer guy. I look forward to the summer. I look forward to the NBA, NHL playoffs, Final Four, NFL draft, the Masters, baseball season starts. I mean, man, it doesn't get any better than that, in my humble opinion. But yeah, so there you go, people. You got food, you got ethics, you got traffic. What's next? Weather report. And I'm gonna sound like a meteorologist. It's sunny. What is it right now? It's gotta be, I think the high's gonna be 60, no, maybe like 59 today. I know, and even though I'm in a sweatshirt, I didn't go for a run this morning. I know I should have. Yeah, I just have not been sleeping well. If you watched the live stream yesterday, my dog kept me up. First of all, going to bed at 1 o'clock is not the move. Dog wakes up at 3:30, has the runs. Then at 6:30, which is usually the time I get up, has the runs. 8:45 has the runs. I mean, geez, that was a rough night. And last night I went to bed at midnight, which I should be getting to bed like 10:30, no later than 11. But then I get up at 6, see what's happening in the sports world, get ready for podcast today, map that out, what to discuss. And the next thing you know, I'm looking at the time, it's 8:45. I'm like, oh, I got 45 minutes. And I had a site set on running X amount of miles. I I could have done a half hour, which I could have. No excuses. But I was like, no, I wanted to run 6 to 8 miles today, which will take me between 50 minutes to an hour. And obviously, when it was 8:45, there went that. So what I'll try to do is hopefully later today, but I got to get my run in. Got to. What is that, 20? Bosa's 28. And he's won a Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, he's probably going to be I'm just thinking here, would he be a Hall of Famer? He probably would. You know me with the Hall of Fame people. I'm a small room guy. Hall of Fame is for elites. It's for the great, not for the good, not for the very good, for the elite. That's why it's a joke with the NBA. It's not even the NBA. I understand it's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So that is college, that is pros, that is etc. And listen, I'm a hard marker, man. I am. I'm sorry. If you're not minimum 6 to 8 first team All NBA, you're not a Hall of Famer. That's why I've had the discussion many times with people, and I got into arguments online where people laugh at me. It's like, yo, you don't never watch basketball. You know what you're talking about. Draymond Green is the first ballot Hall of Famer. What, Draymond Green? And you're saying I haven't watched basketball? And of course, a lot of these guys are in their 20s and they think they know basketball. And they probably do. They probably watch more basketball than I do. Because me, I'm trying to watch all the sports where if they just watch basketball, that's all they're focusing on, which is fine. I dig it. But I'm sorry. He's not my Hall of Fame. And I know my Hall of Fame doesn't matter, but still. Not to try to unpack that whole thing. What's that, Val? Oh, okay. But yeah, so that's what's up, people. 10:30. Ooh, yeah, let me get cracking here. So I can get back to the apartment, start recording, and get the podcast up. As you all know, people, podcast later today. I've actually thought about, and I didn't share this yesterday, real quick before I sign off. I may actually wait till either game 3 or maybe when Ohtani pitches as to when I will stream a game live. Because remember, I did that last month sometime. I did a couple games. Well, I think I did 2 Met games, and then I did a Steeler game. And I know I haven't done that recently. Yeah, my weekends have been just crazy. I've actually thought about maybe even doing tomorrow, Celtics Knicks, or even game 1 of the World Series. But nah, I'll leave that be. But maybe the Ohtani game, whenever he pitches, I may do a live stream. But I'll keep you guys posted for that. Much love too, Vlado. You know it. Hey, how's your mom? Need to know how your mom's doing. If you don't want to say so now, I understand, but she is in my thoughts always. And I just wish her well. Please send her good vibes, high energy. Tell her that JAYREELZ from New York City is thinking of her and thinking of you guys, and that she's doing well. But I'll keep you guys posted with that. Maybe for Monday's podcast pregame, because game 3 will be that night. And I would think Glasnow will pitch that night, and then you'll have Ohtani pitch game 4. So, yeah, I will definitely confirm then on live in a World Series game. Yeah, through that assist login. Yeah, because I got to start doing those. I have not forgotten to do that. So I want to just keep that in your mental Rolodex as we get into the weekend. But with that being said, people, yeah, let me sign off so I can get my podcast party started. As always, I appreciate you guys. You well know Bio, Vlado, Critique, Val, Hi Man, I guess that's his name, Rich Fam, Tatsuya, aka Rhoda, aka Everyday Mets, aka I forgot Bag of Chips. I forgot the name of the chips. Eric Riley, Louis Garcia, of course, Cole, Danavis, Tatsuya, Vlado Val, everybody. Yes, Cole, have a good day. I know I hit you up right before this. My apologies for last night. Night got away from me, it got late, and I said, I'll just reach out to you in the morning, which I did. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody here. You know that. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend, whatever it is that you do. We're getting closer to Halloween, a week from tomorrow, which is crazy, as I talked about in the very top, how time flies. Peace, love, and God bless everybody. Until next time, on the flip, enjoy your